Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, February the 26th. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading, weekly, open, and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Let's take a quick look at the weekly chart. You can see here, not much range. All the gaps have filled. The dashboard shows that. And you can see we're 24 pips off the weekly high at the moment and 6 off the low. We're just about almost 8 hours into the trading day. Let's zoom out to the monthly because we've got 2 trading days, I believe, left in the month. Because technically this is Monday the 27th, but you can see here my local time. It's almost 10 o'clock p.m. my local time, but it's server time. It is already Monday. We're 379 pips below the monthly open, 25 off the low, 462 off the high. And you can see here, we've got 2 days left. And do we wind up with an inside bar, or do we wind up either pushing out of the bottom, pushing through the previous month's low, or zooming back up and above the previous month's high? I wouldn't hold my breath for that previous month's high. It's not looking good. And for the daily, we are putting in the opening range for the week at the moment. We're below the opening range for the year and the opening range for the month. So you can see here, this has been a pretty negative month. Now, according to the seasonality, it says the pound typically forms a bottom in early to late March. So you can see last year's bottom here. No, that's not last year's bottom. Or is, yeah, last year's bottom's right here. So we're getting there, but not quite there. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. And we're now below the daily open by 6.5 pips. Yearly, 150 pips below the yearly open. 99 off the low. So this week we could break through that low. 508. That would be one heck of a candle for the week. Now, we came out of that inside bar from 3 days ago, but see, 1 week ago we had an inside bar. So that would be last week. So it's very possible we break out of that low. Challenge 1927. Look to make some pips if it breaks through that. So keep that number in mind. Now, your weekly low from last week might vary from a pip or two depending on your broker. And we've had one pair, the new beast, the pound New Zealand dollar, 114 pips. Everybody else is well under 100. But let's see, looking here, Euro, New Zealand, 88. Let's see, New Zealand USD, only 38. Aussie, New Zealand, 28. And I'll look at the buy zone here. As you can see, we just crossed below the weekly daily open here at 1945, which is in the launch pad. Range too low for rats. Bambino flex indicator says short, at or near the pivot short, near S1 long. S1 is down at the 1899. Just call it 1900. 1900. So We'll just have to wait and see what happens. We haven't hit the pivot today, and we haven't hit the daily pivot. We haven't hit the weekly pivot at 1.2005 or 06, depending on your broker. Monthly, we've already taken that pivot out. We are in the lower wick zone. You can see we popped out of it a couple of times, but we're right back in it. And so taking a look at the range, only 30 pips, nothing to write home about. But you can see here, the last 4 weeks, nothing over 400 or 500 off of that previous high, or the current high rather. And so monthly high, I don't think we're going to break that monthly high. I don't think there's any significant news events to break it, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Maybe they're going to run the stops at 1900 just to see. They might even try to run the stops at 1800, because right here you can see on this chart we've got an imbalance from here to here. What is that? 1705. So yeah, it's quite possible they bring it price back down to take out some of that imbalance. Price action, simple chart here with the wall lines. As you can see, this Asian session, not much happening in range. But if you were inclined to trade, you can see here, there's been a lot of travel. So there were pips to be made if you trade this time. I usually don't. Something has to really stand out for me to trade that time of day. But you can see here, you can just play between the balls. And in fact, I had a few inquiries. I guess people really liked what I had to say about the 3-level ZZ, giving them a little more tip, how to use it. And somebody was asking about Dragon and how he did it, and the Mighty One, how he did it. So I'll also have to see if I can contact those traders. I don't know if Dragon's still around or not. I chat with Mighty, email with Mighty One maybe once a month or so. And you can see it's top of the hour right now. We're getting some movement. But you can see here the spread on this broker is just way too much to trade at this time. At least, you know, for grabbing a pip or two, you'd have to be more of a trying to get the range. But you can notice how things tightened. Now they're expanding. So we'll just have to wait and see. Range by month, 486. So if I remember correctly, the ATR for the month of April was somewhere around 600. Yeah, 642. So if we're going to hit that 642, I think price has to head south. And let's see, where are we from the year? Well, we're now down 1.25%. January, we closed up 1.9. So that's almost a swing of 3%. show close minus the year-to-date open. So 151. Oh, I know, I forgot to do something. I was getting some more questions about what indicators I'm using on these charts. So there's the indicators for this one. And then here, we've got the 2018 trade reminder. And let's see, monthly, inside the lower wick zone. Strong control, previous bar was outside bar. Right now, lower high, higher low, inside bar. And somebody was asking about these indicators. So I'll just flip through these charts so everybody can see them. That way, if you're watching the video and you're curious, you can pause it and load up some of the indicators. This one is basically just the smart range loaded a bunch of times, and the TRO high-low indicator loaded a bunch of times. And this is the actually this is funny, 2014 high top bottom low zone. We just call it the wick zone. It's quicker. And somebody had asked about this one, where there's basically the missed pivots indicator. That's the one on the left. The missed pivots plot is the one on the right here. And then they wanted these right here, the bars ago. That's a 2016 donational multi-pair indicator. But if you have the 2017 dashboard that I send out, I've been sending it out since 2017 because, and I haven't changed the name even though I've made updates, because I know if people have templates and I change it, say to 2017 to 2018, and they want the new version, then they have to go back in. And most people don't know how to edit templates, so I thought an indicator like that, I better not change the name. That's just like TRO HL5. I mean, really, it's probably about it should be TRO HL20 something by now, all the additions and modifications I've done. But like I said, I didn't want to mess people up, so some of these are going to just keep the same name, even though there are lots of, modifications, call it versions. So here's the pivots template, the rat zone, and I guess it's called a pivot VWAP, but I had to turn VWAP off because it's just such a CPU intensive indicator. It will just, especially on the dashboard, yeah, because it has to calculate VWAPs for what, 20 some pairs. It just drags the machine to a crawl. You almost need a supercomputer. And this is just mainly the dashboard. Once again, mainly the dashboard with inside bar plots. And this one, multi-frequency GPS right here. TRO HL5 year to date. So it puts the year numbers out there. And the dashboard again, HL5 year to date, and 2019 first day. And finally, once again, the dashboard. And that's about it. Some mid dots. So, fellow traders, I'm out of time. Remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. This is TheRumpledOne. Over and out.